I saw my childhood friend after many years, and in that single moment, the world around me seemed to stop. It happened on an ordinary afternoon, the kind of day when you expect nothing new, nothing surprising, just the usual rhythm of life. I was walking out of a small cafe near the old market when a familiar laugh reached my ears, soft but unmistakable, like a voice that had been sleeping inside my memory for years. When I turned around, my heart skipped a beat. There she was, Alina, the girl who once knew every secret of my heart before either of us even understood what secrets meant. She looked different, of course, older, calmer, carrying a quiet sadness in her eyes. But the warmth in her smile was the same, the kind that once made every scraped knee, every bad grade, every childhood fear disappear. For a moment I couldn't move. My breath caught somewhere in my chest as memories rushed back, running through the dusty streets after school, fighting over who would swing on the old banyan tree first, sharing stories under the streetlight when it got dark and our mothers called us home. We had once promised to stay friends forever, but life had its own unpredictable ways of separating people. My family moved away when I was 15, and although we tried to stay in touch, time slowly created distance, turning messages into silence. I'd convinced myself she'd forgotten me. But standing there, watching her eyes widen in recognition, I realized she never did. She said my name. Softly at first, then again with disbelief. And before I knew it, she walked up to me and hugged me tightly, like she was afraid I would disappear if she let go. I felt something inside me break open, something I didn't even know I had locked away for so long. We stepped aside so we wouldn't block the cafe door, and we just stood there for a few seconds, unable to process the moment fully. Her hair was tied loosely back, a few strands falling across her face, and she kept brushing them away nervously as if she was suddenly shy around me. The same girl who once scolded me for crying when I lost a drawing competition. We decided to sit inside the cafe since neither of us wanted the moment to end quickly. The waiter placed 2 cups of tea on the table, but neither of us touched them. We were too busy studying each other's faces, catching up on all the years that had slipped between us. She asked where I had been, what I was doing, why I never came back to visit sooner. Her voice had the same softness, but now it carried stories, burdens, and maybe even a few unsaid regrets. I told her about my job, my family, and the life I built far away from the town we once ruled as reckless children. She listened with an expression that felt like she was trying to piece together the boy she once knew with the man sitting in front of her. When I asked about her, a small shadow crossed her face. She looked down at the table for a moment before she spoke. Life had not been as kind to her. She had lost her father a few years ago, her mother had fallen ill, and she had to give up her dream of studying abroad. She worked at a local school now, teaching young children. She spoke lovingly about them, but I could see the exhaustion in her smile, a weight she carried quietly. I wanted to reach across the table and hold her hand, tell her she didn't deserve the pain she had endured, but something held me back. Maybe fear, maybe the sudden awareness of time's cruel distance. Then she asked the question I had been avoiding all these years. Why didn't you come back? Not even once? There was no anger in her voice, just hurt. And I had no good answer. I tried to explain. The pressure to settle abroad, the busy years, the fear that she might have moved on, forgotten me, replaced childhood memories with new ones. But the words felt weak the moment they left my mouth. She nodded slowly, as if she understood, but didn't fully forgive. I realized then how much our absence can hurt people, even when we don't mean it. We left the cafe and walked toward the old streets we used to run across. Everything looked smaller than I remembered. The playground, the corner shop, even the banyan tree, which once felt like the giant of our childhood world. She laughed as she pointed out the places where we used to fight, where I fell and she helped me up, where she once made me promise never to leave her alone. I didn't know whether to laugh with her or apologize for breaking that promise. When we reached the narrow lane near her house, she stopped walking. The air felt heavy. The sun was setting behind her, painting her figure in warm golden light, and for a second she looked almost unreal, like a memory I was afraid to lose again. She took a deep breath before speaking. "I used to wait for you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Every year, every festival, every vacation, I thought you would come." My chest tightened painfully. I wanted to step closer, tell her she was right to wait, that I had thought of her more times than I could count, that seeing her again felt like finding a missing piece of myself. But before I could speak, she gave a small sad smile and continued, "But it's okay. Life moves on, right?" I nodded, though my heart screamed otherwise. She told me she was engaged now, a good man, kind, stable, someone who had supported her when her world was falling apart. I forced a smile even as something inside me shattered quietly. I congratulated her, told her she deserved happiness, and I meant it. I truly did. But it didn't stop the ache from spreading through me, the feeling that I had lost something precious before I even realized its value. She looked relieved, maybe because she feared I would confess something that might complicate her life. And in that moment, I understood. Timing is everything. We were perfect for each other once, but not anymore. Life had taken us down different paths, and even though our hearts recognized each other, the world no longer aligned for us. She walked me back to the main road, and it felt like our steps were measured, slow, as if both of us wanted to stretch the moment as much as possible. When we reached the place where we first met earlier that afternoon, she stopped and turned to me. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. She reached out and lightly touched my arm, a gesture so gentle it brought tears to my eyes. "I'm really happy you're back," she said, "even if it's just for a day." I swallowed the lump in my throat and managed to smile. "I'm happy too," I whispered, and I meant it more than any words I had spoken in years. She stepped back, gave me one last long look, the kind filled with everything she didn't say, and then she walked away. I watched her go, her figure getting smaller with each step, blending into the crowd until she disappeared altogether. I stood there long after she was gone, feeling the weight of the years between us, the memories we shared, and the moments we lost. Seeing her again reminded me of a simple truth. Some people remain a part of us forever, even if life doesn't allow them to stay beside us. As I finally turned to leave, a strange peace settled over me. Maybe this meeting was not meant to rekindle anything, but simply to remind us of who we once were. Two children who believed in forever. Two hearts connected by innocent promises. Two friends who lost each other only to meet again when life had already changed everything. And even though she walked away again, this time it didn't feel like a goodbye. It felt like closure, like a quiet understanding that some bonds never really break. They just live in a different place inside our hearts. And as I walked home that evening, I whispered a silent hope into the fading light, that wherever life took her next, she would find all the happiness she once waited for, even if it wasn't with me.